Hey, have you guys ever sworn something happened a certain way only to find out you were wrong? It didn't happen that way at all.
That's called being married.
You mean like Nelson Mandela dying in prison in 1980?
Or like the Bernstein Bears spelling their name with an E, or the Monopoly guy wearing a monocle. This phenomenon is known as the Mandela Effect, and it happens to more people than you might think. Today, we're going to dive into why this happens and no, it's not because we're living in a glitchy simulation. Or is it?
Or is it?
Mandela Effect is more than just a quirky memory slip. It's the result of a fascinating combination of psychological, social, and cognitive factors that affect the way our brains store and recall information. Our memories are not like a video recording. They're more like a patchwork quilt, constantly being restitched together. And sometimes the threads just don't line up like they're supposed to. Speaking of memories, I could have sworn we were here to record a podcast, yet somehow it feels like we're actually discussing my inability to remember why I walked into this room. But 1, 2, 3, let's go!
Get ready for unfiltered banter, laughs, and a barrel of fun. This is Monkeys Unfiltered.
It's a good one.
Well, welcome to this episode of Monkeys Unfiltered, where we are going to be exploring how false memories form and why confabulation, when our brain fills in memory gaps, can lead to the vivid but inaccurate recollections, and how social influences in the media can convince entire groups of people to remember the same thing incorrectly. So buckle up as we unravel the mystery of the Mandela Effect.
So you said a word in there very early on that I think you made up.
Confabulation?
Yep.
No, that actually means when your brain fills in gaps in your memory. Like it'll happen when, say, someone's given say there was like a crime and they come and they want to take your, that's different.
It's literally what you're saying.
I'm just telling you what it said when I looked it up.
I know. So for audio listeners, I've shared my notepad where I made notes for this episode. And my second note was what confabulation meant.
It is. God. Yeah. To create, right. When your brain fills in a gap to create a false or distorted memory without realizing you've done it. Like when a crime happens and you're giving your eyewitness, whatever you call that, account of what you saw. No, it's testimony in court. Your eyewitness, whatever of what you saw. And you'll be like, oh, the guy had on a white shirt, because your brain doesn't really remember what color the shirt was. So it'll fill in the information.
It's actually charcoal gray.
It's a true thing in that aspect. But yes, you're just saying it differently than me, but it's the same meaning.
I actually have a fun fact about memories.
Oh, yeah?
Did you know that whenever you're remembering an event, you're not remembering the event, you're remembering the last time you remembered it? And that's why it gets harder to remember things when you get older and things get fuzzier.
Yeah. Or why you can say, I remember it like it was yesterday, because you just remembered it yesterday.
Yup.
Yeah.
Welcome to Existential Crisis, the podcast. This is your intro to dementia. Welcome.
So I did think it would be interesting to kind of delve into exactly what this is, how it came to be. You, Jason, alluded to it, how it got its name, and talk about some of the things that go along with this, and then some of the really popular Mandela effects. Mandela, how do you say it? Mandela?
I would say Mandela, because the Mandela effect is actually named for what I said earlier. So there's a woman who... oh my gosh, I think her name was Booth or Boone or something like that. Anyway, so she was at a conference and was speaking with people and seemed to recall that Nelson Mandela died in prison in the 1980s. And when she was corrected, she was dumbfounded because she had spoken with so many other people who did remember the event. So it's like what you would call these days like misinformation.
Right.
Where something is said so often, whether it's true or not, that people just remember that as fact.
Fake news.
Yeah, and so she created a whole website based on it, but that's why it's called the Mandela Effect, is because it was Nelson Mandela she was thinking of.
Yeah, because for somehow or another, it got started that he had died while he was in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just became kind of this, oh, wait, what do you mean? And kind of like I said, I don't know if you guys really remember this, but I remember the Bernstein Bears from when I was a kid. They were Dr. Seuss characters, but they're really not the Bernstein. They're the Bernstein Bears. There is no E in their name. It's A.
Are they Dr. Seuss characters?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so. It's something.
No, I feel like they were in those series of books, though. Maybe not. Maybe they just were from the same publisher or whatever.
The Berenstain Bears.
Just short-wired there, Hayden?
It doesn't want to give me the author.
Yeah,
maybe nobody did. Maybe the entirety of the existence of the Bernstein Bears is a Mandela effect.
Well, and they're Bernstein, not Steen.
It's literally what I said. But thanks.
It's by Jan and Stan Bernstein.
Aha!
Oh, there you go. Maybe they just came from the same publisher as the Dr. Seuss books, because I just remember them looking the same. But again, I could be suffering from the Mandela effect, and they don't look like that at all.
Dr. Seuss was the editor and publisher of the books.
Okay.
Well, there you go. There you go.
So I'm not totally crazy, and I'm not totally
just a little crazy.
Well, and the other one that just kind of got me recently, and I brought it up to you guys because, we have confessed that before I got my internet stabilized and I would drop off and have to come back and you guys would be talking about Star Wars. Darth Vader does not, in fact, ever say, "Luke, I am your father."
Nope.
It's no, I am your father.
Yes, right. But how many times do you hear people say, "Luke, I am your father"? That's not even.
That's like C-3PO had a silver leg.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
I think people are warming up to that one. It was an absolute people resisted that one for a long time, but I feel like that's actually the common acceptance now. I feel like in essence the Mandela effect around C-3PO's leg has just gone away, because I think people just get that now.
Yeah.
It's same thing with the Bernstein Bears. It's one of the typical examples people use.
Yeah.
So back to the Bernstein Bears, I have a similar one. So, the family from the Stone Ages that roll around in their car with their feet?
The Flintstones.
Yeah.
The Flintstones. There's 2 T's in there.
Well, it makes sense, right? Because Flint is stone.
But when you say it aloud, you're like
Flintstone. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one before that Cheyenne was like, I don't like that.
So on a side note, it's Barney Rubble, okay, and then Mr. Slate,
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know who either of those people are.
So Barney Rubble is Fred's best friend, and Slate is his boss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they all had
I never watched the Flintstones. I just eat the Fruity Pebbles.
Dino the Dino.
So here's one that will sit with you guys. Pikachu.
No black tip on the tail.
Nope.
But everybody says there is.
You know what? I don't care what anybody says. There is. I resist.
that's the way I feel about
Fruit of the Loom and that damn cornucopia.
No, I just recently heard that one too, though. No, that's the way I feel about Curious George. Does he or does he not have a tail?
He doesn't.
He does.
Does too.
He does not.
He does.
He does.
No, the Fruit of the Loom one's actually kind of crazy, because not super recently, but within the past year, people freaked out about that. And Fruit of the Loom went on their website, made a whole page of their former logos just to prove people wrong.
Right.
So I feel like somebody actually had proof recently that one was they had an old T-shirt with the cornucopia on it. Now it's easy to just make it up, or with AI the way it is, it's easy to just everything is true now if you want it to be.
Right, if you want it to be, if you have the right skill set or the right piece of software. But I'm of the mindset when I was a kid in the dark ages back, because the Flintstones were my neighbors, there was a cornucopia. Because there used to be a commercial that came on when I was a kid for Fruit of the Loom, and it was people dressed up like the fruit, and the cornucopia was just in the background.
Mm-hmm.
That's my confabulated memory, apparently.
Oh my God. Okay, so when I first read that word, I thought it was made up. I thought it was a psyop against me. So you alluded to this earlier. It's memory error. So like, yeah, your mind just fills in the blanks, even whether it's true or not. Your brain is incredibly effective at adding details in that aren't there. So for example, like when you see like two circles and then one circle kind of in the middle below those two circles, your brain just automatically assumes that's a face, whether it is or not.
Right.
Like your mind is incredible about interpreting the world around you. And so when a memory is stored, that's called an engram, right? But the framework of those memories, which your mind uses, so like this is short-term and long-term memory. So in the short term, you need to know, or rather in the long term, you need to know that like the world operates this way, right? Even from all the way when you were a child, your mind has captured how the world works around you. So put all those memories together, it's called a schema.
Excuse you.
And so yeah, your mind just fills in the blanks in order, like this is like a survival of the fittest type of thing. Like you're I feel like I'm repeating myself, but your mind just fills in the blank.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I mean, the body is an amazing thing in the way that it will protect itself from the unknown or what it can't comprehend. Yeah.
Can equate that to what is it when people just block something out?
Forgetfulness.
Repressing.
Oppressing.
No, suppressed memories.
Repressed,
yeah.
Right?
Repressed, suppressed, whatever. So like
oppressed.
That's the same thing, right? If something is too far out of reality or just too beyond the comprehension of a normal functioning mind, sometimes your mind will just reject it outright, whether it's real or not.
Yeah, and you have a what do you call it? A schizophrenic break.
Those seem like fun.
Yeah, I have those when I'm at work, I think.
Yeah. What were you going to say a minute ago, Hayden?
I was going to say another fun fact, because you were mentioning about like how your mind just automatically assumes things are faces sometimes. Your mind is so good, but also so bad at creating and finding faces that every face you see when you dream is someone you have seen or met in real life.
Really?
Yeah, there's a ton of people that look like paper towel rolls. That's for sure.
What?
Well, I'm just saying, like, if it's any circular, like, configuration, it could just be anything.
Oh.
Like,
yeah,
I don't see a whole lot of people looking like an alarm clock or anything.
Right. Well, when I was doing some research for this, I kind of, y'all know me, I go down rabbit holes, right? So I'm like, why does this happen? How can you convince just massive groups of people that Febreze is only got one E in it and it's not Febreze, it's Febreze? You know, how do you
Febreze.
How do you convince everybody that the Monopoly man is not wearing a monocle when you know damn good and well, yes, he is, you know? So I was doing a little research and just digging around going, you know, like, why does this happen? And of course, there is, and we've talked about this before, the influence of social media. And so when you put something on social media, on Facebook or Instagram or wherever, people put things like, wow, check it out. You know, it just kind of becomes like truth, right? But I found some interesting theories that perhaps are worth discussing. I don't know. One of the most popular speculative theories was that we live in parallel universes.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Alternate realities.
So, like,
yeah,
it's the merging of two universes at some point, and that's why there are some people that think one thing and some people that think another thing.
It's what the back rooms call a null zone.
Oh, what I was reading calls it a slip. So when the two universes slip and, you know, people pass back and forth, you move a memory from one universe to the other. And I'm like, okay.
I think people would equate deja vu to that too. It's either a previous life you've had or like an overlap.
Right. Deja vu did come up in some of the things that I was reading. And I just, you know, I tend to think it's more the social media effect or, you know, enough people have said it. So I think that it's true. My mind has filled in that cornucopia behind the fruit basket on the underwear tag, right?
And it just fits too, right? It's not anything that seems out of place. Like you could swear on your life that thing was always there, or at least it used to be, even in cases where it wasn't. So like when you consider something like the Fruit of the Loom label, like it just works. Having the cornucopia there, just it looks right.
Right, it makes sense.
Yeah, your brain is
so
just
your
like,
brain
this
filled it
is
in.
factual. So there is a concept known as misleading post-event information. It's when incorrect information is given to someone after an event that can negatively impact their memory of what actually happened. So like you brought up about the social media thing, it could be the same type of situation. If enough people share it enough times, then it becomes the cultural zeitgeist. It's like people just like believe in it, whether it's true or not, because so many other people have said it. So like, I don't know if you've ever seen those memes or whatever. There's a guy standing in the middle of a crowd and he just goes, "Yes, you are all wrong."
Yeah, I mean, because who doesn't want to be in the know, right? Who wants to be that person that is like, oh, really? I'm the only person who thinks there's no cornucopia there? Well, okay, there must be a cornucopia there. I mean, that's human nature, right? You want to be you want to be part
That's
of the
called
right
peer
group.
pressure.
Also, people want to feel smarter than everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it's like, oh, I know something that you don't. So like,
I call that the one-uppers.
There's a lot of those.
Everybody just got to one-up you. Like this, I don't know if you guys remember this. I love her so much. Kristen Wiig,
the Turget
from
lady.
Saturday Night Live.
Turget.
The Turget lady. Well, she also has this other character where she is, I don't know that this character actually has a name. I just call her the one-upper lady, right? So she usually, the skit is she's at some social setting, like a Christmas party or whatever, and they'll just start small conversation. What?
I know where you're going with this
because
we've copied it so many times. I have 10 baby cats.
Oh my God. She just, oh yes. They'll start conversation. It'll be like, oh yeah. And I rescued this little kitten. And she's like, oh, I rescued, the whole time she's like playing with her hair like a valley girl. Oh my God. I just rescued 8 kittens yesterday. Like I scooped them up with my bare hands and I feed them milk from my own mouth. Like she's always one-upping.
It goes way off the
crazy
rails.
Stuff.
It's awesome.
I crack up. I also read a theory about the Mandela effect that some people attribute it to time travel.
Totally.
Like there are totally people coming back in time and just messing stuff up.
There's definitive proof that time travel cannot happen, or there are some laws about traveling to the past, because Stephen Hawking held a party that said all time travelers come here at this specific time and no one showed up.
Oh,
well, they just knew Stephen Hawking was a nerd, so they didn't want to be at his lame party.
Well, I mean, he was pretty smart. I might have went to his party.
Right, he's a nerd. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, you could be a nerd and not be smart, trust me.
Although, it does crack me up, no matter how many times I see this scene, but there's the Big Bang Theory where they're signing off on the roommate agreement. And he's like, if either one of us have discovered time travel, we'll agree to meet at this spot in 4 seconds. And they just start looking around like, where?
Right. So like, I never really got into that show like a lot of people, but there for a little while, it filled a time gap in between 2 shows that I was watching on like an off cable channel. And so I did fall privy to a few episodes, and that happens to be one of the few episodes.
A good one.
I had a Big Bang Theory moment a few days ago.
You did?
We were in like this antique shop thing where it's like a bunch of booths of a bunch of people selling different stuff.
Oh yeah, like consignment stuff.
Like, you know, in the Big Bang Theory, they go in and they're flipping through all the comic books, but they're just sitting there talking. I was doing that in one of them, flipping through comic books, and I was like, I'm like Sheldon.
Time traveled to the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Hayden, that time travel is not a thing, and it's impossible unless your name is Matt Groening.
Okay, this is one of those moments when I go, boy.
Yeah, I don't know either.
So Matt Groening is one of the creators of both The Simpsons and the creator of Futurama.
Yeah, because The Simpsons like predict everything.
Okay.
I mean, it's insane how much they get right.
It is actually like mind-boggling.
Hayden, where is New Zealand?
New Zealand is off the coast of, like, it's not really just off the coast, but it's down in Oceania by Australia.
Okay. Where and tell me directionally where in relationship to Australia, New Zealand is?
To the east.
Mm-hmm.
Can you be a little more specific?
Like southeast-ish.
Oh, you got it right. So that is a Mandela effect. It was definitely new to me as I was doing research that there are a surprising number of people who misremember the exact location of New Zealand. They think when they look at a world map, they expect it to be to the northeast of Australia, and it is actually to the southeast of Australia. I am one of those people who thought it was to the northeast.
Because it kind of like, if you look at it, it kind of like there's a spot where it looks like it can fit and hook around Australia down the southeast border.
Got it. I found that one really interesting. I was like, what?
So, hot take. I didn't know anything about this Mandela effect, mainly because I've never known where New Zealand was.
I have another fun fact because this is geography, and I have a lot of fun facts about geography. Spain, like Madrid, Spain, is right in line with New York City.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I believe it. On the same, what do you call that?
Latitude.
Parallel. Meridian, whatever. I'm
you
sorry.
Freaking try, dude. That's lines of latitude or something. I don't know.
Do you know the correct name?
I know the Muffin
it's
Man.
Latitude.
Well, I know the Muffin Man too. He lives on Drury Lane. But did you know the correct terminology for that line?
It's latitude.
Get wrecked.
I said latitude. What are you talking about?
Longitude is up and down.
I said latitude. What do you mean get wrecked?
Because they're long.
Because I asked you to repeat it and you didn't. So get wrecked.
Anyway.
I'll just remind you, I taught you to wipe your butt.
Sure. Did you also know that New Zealand is Middle Earth?
It is.
Yeah.
What?
It's also Westeros.
That's right.
Oh.
To a degree. Like some of Westeros is in
Scotland.
Well, and also Croatia. I could not think of the name of that country. Golly.
What? Well, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not what?
Could you not remember the name of Croatia?
Why not both?
Because it was difficult. I've never been.
Hey, what's the name of your favorite peanut butter?
Jif.
Not Jiffy.
No.
Nope. Because
there's Jiffy Lube though. That's like oil.
That would be Skippy. Yeah. Well, and it would be Skippy, not Jiffy.
And Skiffy.
Jiffy is a cornbread mix.
That's right.
Jiffy. It is. It is. It is.
Not
you can make corn
butter.
muffins with that.
So I'll be honest, I didn't show up to this episode with actual examples. Like I know all the normal ones like we're talking about right now, but I really just came with the big words and the definitions and stuff.
The fancy stuff to, like Hayden said, try to be the smartest person in the room.
Right. So to that note, priming occurs when an individual's exposure to a certain stimulus influences their response to a subsequent prompt. So it's like questions that lead you to recall things a little bit differently. So there's studies done that both affirm and disprove this concept. Mm-hmm. For example, if like a lawyer is cross-examining a witness during a court case, and so instead of asking, "Did you see a car?" they say, "Did you see the black car?" So it like subtly influences your answer because your mind processes, "Did you see the car?" instead of "Did you see the black car?" necessarily, right? Because you know that the car was in fact blue. When they ask you the black car, you just say yes instinctively on occasion. Like, again, there are studies that say this is kind of BS and that there are also studies that support it.
Well, that's kind of sort of like a Pavlovian response kind of thing, too.
I was thinking that same thing.
Where like
I didn't ring any bells.
Where like... Shut up. It's funny and you don't even know it.
That is funny. I was like, that's why I said it.
Where like a certain condition, like you automatically have a certain response to it, you know, like the Pavlovian dog.
It's supper time.
If, you know, he hears this bell, he's going to get a treat.
He's going to get fed, right? Yeah. Well, and then that same line of those psychological tests or training like that, and I don't remember what this one is called. One of you two big brainiacs probably will. You can, talking about peer pressure, right? And everybody believes that it's Bernstein's, not Bernstein, right? So you fall in line with that. There was an experiment done where these people were brought in and they sit at this switchboard and they think that they are delivering an electric shock to someone on the other side.
Yeah.
And, you know, they give the shock and they're like, okay, done. And the proctor is like, no, go again, till the point to where the person on the other end is just like screaming, like, don't, oh my God, I'm in so much pain. But the proctor has led the experiment subject, the person, to believe that he's really doing the right thing by shocking this person. It's amazing. I mean, they're not actually shocking the people, right? But it's amazing how many people will deliver a lethal shock because they've been conditioned to think that they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Right. If I remember correctly, I think it was 70% gave up to at least the lethal shock, right? What got to that point.
Yeah, it was a ridiculous amount.
I think 30% rejected the experiment outright and just said, I'm not doing this.
No.
But yeah, it was an overwhelming percentage that just went along with it.
Now imagine.
I don't remember what.
Go ahead.
Now imagine the world's governments doing that to their own people.
That doesn't happen. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, what?
There's no scenario which any government lies under any circumstances.
Our government never feeds us crap, and there is no reason to ever fact check.
Yeah, you have to quit being a conspiracy theorist.
Just a theory. Yeah. I'm not saying it's true. Can't hold me accountable for anything.
Hayden. Knock that stuff off.
Hey, you know the Queen song, We Are the Champions?
Of the world.
Doesn't say that. Not at the end, at least.
Doesn't say it.
He just ends the song with, We Are the Champion.
And you know what? I heard that one several weeks ago. Obviously, I have been hooked on having this discussion.
I've been hooked on phonics.
As a podcast. Well, not me, because I can't spell, so... But I've been really hooked on this Mandela.
You've been hooked on this man.
Yeah, me.
It's like a mandolin, but Mandela.
Brr.
Just one man, Jason. But I really have been reading up about this. And you know how when something gets in your head, all of a sudden it's everywhere you look.
Yeah.
People are talking about it or, and so that's kind of how the last few.
There's a word for that.
Confirmation bias. I feel like it happens a lot with cars. So I specifically like driving a car that no one else owns. But as soon as I start looking at specific cars, I see nothing but those cars on the road.
Nothing but those cars. Right. Again, it's like your brain is just amazing. Mm-hmm. What it can do and the links that it will go to protect your psyche.
Or lead you astray because...
I was about to say self-destruct.
No, I'm serious. Yeah, because what happens is you have to consider, a lot of people don't really think about this day in and day out. Your brain processes an unbelievable amount of information every single day.
Every day.
All the stimulus that you're confronted with day in and day out, your brain filters out about 90% of that. And it only focuses on what you think is important. So I find myself in my job. So I work in a box store a good portion of the time. And so there's 100,000 people, not 100,000, but hundreds or thousands of people that walk past me every day. And I hardly notice any of them. And that's not intentional. Right. It's just I got a job to do. And so there's been several times where people I know intimately, I don't even recognize them because that's not what I'm paying attention to. So then they'll come up and be like, hello. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was you. That's happened to me several times. Just because your brain just has to compartmentalize or you'll go insane.
A great example of not necessarily going insane, but what your brain filters out every day is that you can always see your own nose. But you don't see it because your brain constantly filters it out.
Well, and a fun thing to do is to just rapidly blink your eyes so you get the different perspective on your nose.
Checking all sides of it, as we all go cross-eyed looking at our
Please comment
nose.
on Facebook if you did that experiment.
I was going to say, how many people are looking at their nose right now?
Yeah, we know you did. We know you just went right on cross-eyed right then. But Jason, what you're talking about, so I call that being in the zone, right? I have blocked absolutely everything out because I'm so hyper-focused on what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And because I work from home and 90% of the time there's nobody else in the house but me during the day, I'll be so engrossed in something I'm doing, whether it's work related or research for the show or, working on social or whatever. And my husband will come in the house. The dogs will be barking their heads off because somebody's coming in the house. He'll come in. He'll get all the way right up next to me and be standing there and I won't even know he's there. Because I'm so engrossed in what I'm doing. I don't know if that's my brain protecting me or setting me up to be stabbed by some, on the run, break out of jail, killer person, thing, murderer, axe murderer, Jason with a ski mask. What's his name?
You got it.
Yeah, that dude.
So, like I said earlier, there are people whom I know, are actual friends of mine that I don't recognize because I'm just not paying that close attention. It's the same thing if you're in a room and someone is just in there, right? So like, say you're in your house and you're in your bedroom, and then like all of a sudden your wife's standing next to you. It's like you didn't even notice she came, right?
That was this morning for me.
Likely, she made noise coming into the room. It just didn't register with you because you were doing something else. But like, pretty much anybody who sneaks up on you, the brain's like focused on something else.
Hayden has just installed his 2-out rally cap.
No, man, this is my shark fin.
It's a shark fin. Damn it.
Oh, okay. Why are you wearing a shark fin?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Oh, okay.
Well, because the team on the hat suck at playing football, so.
Oh my God, they are just. Okay, we're not going to go down
Not a sports episode.
Right, that's what I said. We're not going down that rabbit hole. So were there, when you guys were looking, were there any other ones that popped out to you like, wow, really?
So this is kind of a lesser one for me, but it's not mirror, mirror on the wall. It's magic mirror on the wall.
Yeah.
I have 2 about Mickey Mouse.
Oh?
The suspenders?
The suspenders and the fact that he does have a tail.
Mm.
He does?
In the original, like, old, like,
the
Steamboat
original,
Willie.
like Steamboat Willie. Yeah. But he did not have suspenders on, right?
Never had suspenders, had a tail.
And what's so funny to me is I read the one about the suspenders, but not the tail. As soon as I read that, I was like, wait, did he? Did he not? But like, I just read that he didn't. But of course, my mind is now filling him in with suspenders, and I can see it in the black and white because Steamboat Willie, was a black and white. And I'm like, no, I see the suspenders. I think they're wrong. Like now I'm having an argument in my head, right?
Yeah.
Which is so dumb.
You know the cereal that cuts the roof of your mouth?
Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch, not Captain Crunch.
And it's also Fruit Loops, spelled with 2 O's in both words.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's not Looney Tunes with 2 O's, it's Looney Tunes like music.
Yep.
Like music, right.
Yep.
And so who knows what the color chartreuse is?
Oh my God!
Green. It's green.
So listen, wait.
It is green.
I actually, Chris will appreciate this because I don't know. We've mentioned his name on the podcast before, but he'll appreciate that I brought this up. I was supposed to meet him at church at a 4:30 service one day. It was after work. And so I walk in and like we're a little bit late. And so I text him and I'm like, where are you guys? He goes, I'm up front in the chartreuse shirt. I said, who in the hell are you talking to? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, what is that even? He's like, well, it's this like yellow, green, whatever. And I said, buddy, I'm colorblind. Like,
right.
Not only did you not say like red, yellow, green, whatever, you've brought up chartreuse, whatever that might be.
Yeah, you used a fancy word. You used a quarter word. Well, and when I read this one, I was like, people actually think chartreuse is pink.
Mm.
We're recording on a Tuesday, which is the day that I have all my client check-in calls. So I kind of did a poll. Out of the 6 clients I talked to today, 3 of them thought chartreuse was pink.
Yeah.
It's green.
I'm like, what?
It's like mauve. Is that pink?
Yeah, no. Yeah, like a pinkish purple kind of color, like a dusty pink or some whatever word you want to use there.
But dusty.
I don't know a whole lot of those obscure color names. I don't know if it really matters either.
Magenta, fuchsia.
Magenta's like purple, right?
Sure.
Yeah, more purpley. The only reason chartreuse sticks out with me is one of my clients, a Pet with Paws. She makes these really awesome pet carriers. They're super cool. Y'all should go check them out. Anyways, right?
Well, free ads.
One of her brand colors is a chartreuse green, and both she and I just love the color so much. So yay. So when I was doing my research, there was one that stuck out to me that I was like, seriously? What is your problem?
Sorry, I just thought it was chartreuse board. Instead of charcuterie
like a shark board.
A shark coochie board?
No, the coochie board.
Oof.
A coochie board.
All right.
Love me a coochie board.
There's your Mandela effect.
Here's the one that stuck out for me so much so I went and found this movie and sped through to the section because I didn't believe it. And we talked about this movie on our podcast where we talked about the movies we love the most. Forrest Gump.
Life was a box of chocolates.
Was like a box of chocolates, not is like a box of chocolates. And I, again, was having an argument in my head. So I took 15 minutes and went and researched it. And I was like, well, I'll be damned.
No, it's funny you bring up the Forrest Gump thing because that actually came up in conversation for me like really recently before you even told us about the topic at work. We were talking about whatever, and I was just like, life is like a box of chocolates. And my friend was like, that's not the line. And I'm like,
they're like, no.
I'm like, it's definitely the line. He goes, no, its life was a box of chocolates. Because he's telling a story. And I'm like, that makes so much sense and I hate you. Shut up.
Right. So, you ruined my favorite movie. Shut up. We're not friends anymore. Go away.
Right.
And all of that.
Yeah. Dick.
Well, I can tell you what's not a Mandela effect. Can you guess?
Monkey mischief. Monkey.
Monkey mischief. Monkey mischief. There's no Mandela effect when it comes to the monkey mischief.
Monkey,
and
monkey.
If you have no idea what we're talking about, that just means you don't follow us on social media, and you need to go take care of that immediately.
Right now. We'll wait.
We'll wait.
Do it. Just do it.
Like and follow us on Facebook so you can participate in the Monkey Mischief, because every Monday we post the beginnings of a dad joke. And then we invite you to drop your best guess in the comments and join us here on Wednesdays where we deliver the punchline. So, what is so damn funny?
I'm sorry. Just the way you said immediately makes me think of when Mr. Krabs was trying to scare SpongeBob to taking the hat back to Smitty Warbin Jaeger mentions.
Okay, shut up. You've been canceled.
Canceled.
I can't.
Anyhow.
This is my brain.
Yeah.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Let me bake you a batch of shut the fuck up cakes. Anyhow. Anyhow, if you visit us on social media, like if you're still hanging around after all of these shenanigans, you would have seen we are continuing this month of October with our Halloween themed jokes. And you would have seen, why didn't the skeleton go to the party?
Because he has social anxiety.
Well, probably, but that's not the reason.
Much like...
Oh my God.
Much...
Holy crap.
Much like Hezbollah, he doesn't have the balls.
I don't know if that counts. I don't know if I can count that as a right answer, but balls are part of the body, and he didn't go because he had no body to go with.
I mean, I was right.
Oh my God.
Okay, so that Monkey Mischief was full of mischief and monkey business.
And current events.
Yeah, but if you think you have a dad joke that is suitable for Monkey Mischief, we invite you to visit us at www.monkeysunfiltered.com. There's a submission form near the bottom of the page where you can drop your joke. And if we voice it on air, Hayden, what are they going to get? A sticker! That's right, folks. We will gladly send you a one-of-a-kind, you'll be the only one to own it, Monkeys Unfiltered sticker. Yay!
Well, you'll be the only one to own that specific sticker.
Right, that specific sticker. I feel like the sticker needs a co-hosting credit or something at this point.
Yeah, sticker gets a featurette on every episode.
Exactly. It has its own, what do you call it? Vignette.
Yo, I lost my sticker.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You got a new car.
Yeah, don't tell anybody because then they think I have money, which is not true.
Oh, wow.
It's an interesting story. My car, so I replaced the hybrid battery earlier this year, and it was almost $1,000. And so it went out on me a couple of weeks ago on the way to work. And it was almost to work, right? Just the way things worked out was just the worst time for this to happen. So I called my boss and I'm like, dude, we got a problem. So he goes, well, you're gonna have to call out. I'm like, I did not drive literally less than a mile from work just to go home now. I'll sort this out, whatever. So he's like, well, I'm actually on my way up to your side, so I'll pick you up and take you the rest of the way. I said, great, I can figure it out from there. So I ended up using my mother-in-law's car for the rest of the day. So I had it towed to the dealership. Ariel and I went in, and so I didn't know what was wrong with the car, and they told me it was 3 weeks to figure out what was wrong with it. So we went in and just decided, look, we got to get rid of this thing. This is the third time this has happened. Let's just get out from under it. So we ended up getting both new cars. I actually got a brand new car, which I promised myself I'd never do, but nevertheless. So when we traded it in, we signed the deal and whatever. So I came in the next day to like get my stuff out of my old car. And the guy who sold me the car walks up to me with a sheet of paper in hand. He goes, "You got us on this one." I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because he wanted to give me like $500 for the trade because it was in the service department.
Right.
And I'm like, "Brother, this car still runs. Like, that's BS. Don't do that to me." And he ended up giving me $5,000 instead. So I'm like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Well, when he handed me the sheet of paper, it was very clearly an indication that it needed a new engine. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, "You got us on this one." And I was like, "I promise that was not my goal."
Wow.
I didn't know what was wrong with it. And I was like, "Here's the thing though, had you not bumped me down to like 3 weeks to find out what was wrong with it, then we could have crossed this bridge sooner, and like you would have been on the upper hand."
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Huh.
God protect.
Yeah. And just so you guys know, it is not Smokey the Bear. It's just Smokey Bear. Okay, well, I think we've about tricked ourselves into thinking we know things that we don't actually know, that the rest of society has told us is the truth, that our mind filled in and it didn't really happen, and the shirt was black, not white, and the car was red, not blue. And I still don't remember.
And the dress is black and blue, damn it.
Yes. And I still don't remember why I came in this room other than to record this episode of Monkeys Unfiltered with you two nutskulls.
Yo, no joke. I went downstairs to get some socks earlier, and I stood in the kitchen, no joke, for 45 seconds, trying to remember why I came downstairs. I went and got the socks, stopped to use the bathroom, and then came back upstairs without the socks.
Yeah, man.
Welcome to old age.
Mm-hmm.
Until next time, monkeys. Love you.
Hello.
Goodbye.
Bye. Yeah, you, Hayden.
Yeah,
not other Hayden.
There was just a loud bang behind me, so I had to make sure my wife didn't fall over and die.
You can check on her when the podcast is over.